An old Jewish man walks into a bar and sits down. He has a few drinks, looks around him, and suddenly freezes when he sees a Chinese man. He gets up and punches him in the face. "Ouch!" the Chinese man cries, holding his nose. "What was that for?" "That was for Pearl Harbor," the Jewish man says. "But I'm Chinese." "Chinese, Japanese, what's the difference?" growls the old man as he turns and sits back down. A few seconds later, the Chinese man walks up to the Jewish man and punches him in the face. "Ouch!" the Jewish man cries, holding his nose. "What was that for?" "That was for the Titanic," the Chinese man says. "But that was an iceberg." "Iceberg, Goldberg. What's the difference?" On the first day, God created the dog and said, "Sit all day by the door of your house and bark at anyone who comes in or walks past. For this, I will give you a lifespan of 20 years. The dog said, "That's a long time to be barking. How about only 10 years, and I'll give you back the other 10. And God saw it was good. On the second day, God created the monkey and said, "Entertain people, do tricks, and make them laugh. For this, I'll give you a 20-year lifespan." The monkey said, "Monkey tricks for 20 years? That's a pretty long time to perform. How about I give you back 10 like the dog did?" And God again saw it was good. On the third day, God created the cow and said, "You must go into the field with the farmer all day long and suffer under the sun, have calves and give milk to support the farmer's family. For this, I will give you a lifespan of 60 years. The cow said, "That's kind of a tough life you want me to live for 60 years. How about 20, and I'll give back the other 40. And God agreed it was good. On the fourth day, God created humans and said, "Eat, sleep, play, marry, and enjoy your life. For this, I'll give you 20 years. But the human said, "Only 20 years. Could you possibly give me my 20? The 40 the cow gave back, the 10 the monkey gave back, and the 10 the dog gave back. That makes 80, okay?" "Okay," said God. "You asked for it. So that is why, for our first 20 years, we eat, sleep, play, and enjoy ourselves. For the next 40 years, we slave in the sun to support our family. For the next 10 years, we pull monkey tricks to entertain the grandchildren. And for the last 10 years, we sit on the front porch and bark at everyone." A 65-year-old lady suddenly started learning to swim instead of her usual routine of going to bingo. Everyone was curious and asked her, "Why the change in your interest?" The lady, with a look of helplessness, replied, "Whenever my son and daughter-in-law quarrel with each other, my daughter-in-law always asks my son, 'If your mom and I fall into water, which one would you save first?' So because I do not want to put my son in a difficult position, I am learning to swim." A few days later, her son and his wife were quarreling again, and the daughter-in-law unreasonably asked, "Now tell me, if your mom and I fall into the water, whom will you save first?" The husband replied, "I don't have to get into the water. My mom knows how to swim. She will save you." The wife refused to relent. "No, you have to jump into the water and have to save one of us. Which one will it be?" Her husband replied, "Then I'm sorry to say you'll die anyway because I don't know to swim, and my mom will definitely save me first." A man goes into the confession booth at church. "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned." "What is your sin, my son?" asks the priest. "Well, about a month ago I was in the library until closing time, and when I wanted to leave it started to rain very heavily and didn't let up. After some time, me and the librarian lost our patience and, well, partied all night, if you catch my drift." "That is bad, but not horrible, my son," said the priest. "If it is a one-time slip, God will forgive you." "That's just the thing," said the man. "About a week ago I helped my neighbor fix her shutters, and when I wanted to go home it started raining heavily and, well, you know, all night long." The priest remains silent. The man covers his face in his hands and starts sobbing. "What should I do now, Father? What should you do?" screamed the priest. "You should get out of here right now before it rains." A 5-year-old girl went to visit her grandmother one day. She played with her dolls as Grandma dusted the furniture. At one point, She looked up and asked, "Grandma, how come you don't have a boyfriend?" Grandma replied, "Honey, my TV is my boyfriend. I can sit in my bedroom and watch it all day long. The TV evangelists keep me company and make me feel so good. The comedies make me laugh. I'm so happy with my TV as my boyfriend." Grandma turned on the TV and the picture was horrible. She started adjusting the knobs trying to get the picture in focus. Frustrated, she started hitting the back of the TV hoping to fix the problem. The little girl heard the doorbell ring, so she hurried to open the front door. When she opened the door, there stood Grandma's minister. The minister said, "Hello, young lady, is your grandma home?" The little girl replied, "Yeah, she's in the bedroom banging her boyfriend." A man who smelled like a distillery flopped on a subway seat next to a priest. The man's tie was stained, his face was plastered with red lipstick, and a half-empty bottle of gin was sticking out of his torn coat pocket. He opened his newspaper and began reading. After a few minutes, the disheveled guy turned to the priest and asked, "Say, Father, what causes arthritis?" "Mister, it's caused by loose living, being with cheap, wicked women, too much alcohol, and a contempt for your fellow man." "Well, I'll be," the drunk muttered, returning to his paper. The priest, thinking about what he had said, nudged the man and apologized. "I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to come on so strong. How long did you have arthritis?" "I don't have it, Father. I was just reading here that the Pope does." Airman Jones was assigned to the induction center, where he was to advise new recruits about their government benefits, especially their GI insurance. It wasn't long before Captain Smith noticed that Airman Jones had almost a 100% record for insurance sales, which had never happened before. Rather than ask about this, the captain stood in the back of the room and listened to Jones's sales pitch. Jones explained the basics of the GI insurance to the new recruits, and then said, "If you have GI insurance and go into battle and are killed, the government has to pay $200,000 to your beneficiaries. If you don't have GI insurance and you go into battle and get killed, the government has to pay only a maximum of $6,000. Now," he concluded, "which bunch do you think they are going to send into battle first?" One morning, a blind bunny was hopping down the bunny trail, and he tripped over a large snake and fell ker-plop, right on his twitchy little nose. "Oh, please excuse me," said the bunny. "I didn't mean to trip over you, but I'm blind and can't see." "That's perfectly all right," replied the snake. "To be sure, it was my fault. I didn't mean to trip you, but I'm blind too, and I didn't see you coming. By the way, what kind of animal are you?" "Well, I really don't know," said the bunny. "I'm blind and I've never seen myself. Maybe you could examine me and find out." So the snake felt the bunny all over, and he said, "Well, you're soft and cuddly, and you have long, silky ears, and a little fluffy tail and a dear, twitchy little nose. You must be a bunny rabbit." Then he said, "I can't thank you enough. But by the way, what kind of animal are you?" And the snake replied that he didn't know, and the bunny agreed to examine him. When he was finished, the snake said, "Well, what kind of an animal am I?" So the bunny felt the snake all over, and he replied, "You're hard, you're cold, you're slimy, and you haven't got any balls. You must be a politician." A man has to drive for a few days to get to his new house. After a long and tiring drive throughout the night, the driver decides to pull over on the side of the road to take a nap. A man knocks on the car's window, and this wakes the driver from his sleep. The man asks the driver what time it is. The driver looks at his watch and replies, "It's 8 a.m., and goes back to sleep. After a while, another man knocks on the car's window and wakes the driver from his sleep. This man also asks the driver what time it is. The driver replies, "It's 8:05 a.m., and goes back to sleep. Sure enough, after a while, again, another man knocks on the car's window and asks the same question. The driver, now annoyed, replies, "It's 8:07 a.m. He picks up a piece of paper and writes in bold letters, "I don't know what time it is," sticks it on the car's window and goes back to sleep. The driver is again woken from his sleep by a knock on his window. The man knocking on the window says, "It's 8:10 a.m., you're welcome,"